Okay, we promised we'd be back with another Dilemmas episode.
Yes, we did. And now we're back with another Dilemmas episode because you guys have sent in quite a few dilemmas for us to go through.
Yeah, keep sending them though.
Yeah, keep sending them.
Shall we just get straight into it?
Hit me.
Obviously, these dilemmas came in before we released the one which said keep them shorter, so these ones are still long.
Okay.
So the drill is the same. I'm going to read the whole dilemma, and then if we need to edit some out, we'll edit some out if there's any useless information.
Yeah.
Okay, so hi both. Hope you're doing well. How formal. I recently discovered your podcast and I think it's great and equally love that it's so real. I have worked in HR for 16 years in a range of different industries and have level 7 CIPD. I have been with my current employer for almost 7 years. I report into someone who was the HR director, but now her role has changed to more ops space. She has only ever worked in this company, 14 years in HR, and has no CIPD qualifications and no plans to do it either. At times, I have to educate her on things and remind her about potential claims if we go down the route she has suggested. My current role is head of HR, but when I first started, I was employed as a HR manager. Over the years, I've asked about promotions, development, and pay rises in line with the market. All have been declined. I was told I need to do my own PDP, personal development plan, and it was not my manager's responsibility to do so. And I was only promoted to head of HR in 2022 following returning from maternity leave, and they didn't want my maternity cover to go back to her advisor role.
Oh.
When I asked for a head of department role before COVID and my maternity leave, I was always told no, despite others being promoted to head of department in other departments with no qualifications or previous experience in their field. More recently, I have started to dislike my job due to the toxic environment, lack of support, and I'm trying to find another job, but it's hard. I did ask about the HR director role when my manager's role changed, and initially she told me I could not do it with no explanation. Then months later, the CEO suggested if I want it, I have to work on it, and there would be a development path with no development plan. And I was told, I was told there is nothing more in HR they can teach me. I knew at the time it was all to stop me from asking, as nothing has come of it. 2 days ago, I received notification of a job from a job board, which is a HR director role, and this is in my company, and they have not advertised it internally, and I think it's to stop me from applying.
Oh, wow.
I also feel at times that there's an element of racism from the senior directors who state I am aggressive. I am not. I am direct and assertive, yet my manager walks around swearing and no one bats an eyelid. We held an EDI seminar with clients and the CEO forgot to thank me for arranging this, but remembered my 2 white colleagues. Then my manager reminded him I organised it as well. And he said, oh yeah, and insert name. He then said in front of everyone, I'm giving him death stares, which I wasn't. I was just shocked again. And this is another example of where they say I'm aggressive. In relation to the HR director role, I am patiently waiting as I am considering to raise a formal grievance. Something as a HR person I have never done before. I wanted to get your views on this.
Well, first of all, don't stop looking for a new job.
Yeah, stay on them job boards.
Yeah, don't stop looking for a new job. But also, I just feel like sometimes with companies, you have to read between the lines. Like, what are they telling you versus what they're doing? Okay, they're telling you, yeah, if you work hard enough, all right, but now you're posting the job externally.
And you haven't told me.
And you haven't told the person.
And it's clearly not a big HR team.
Exactly. So, and then somebody else who was covering you for maternity, they don't want that person to go into a HR advisor role. They want to keep them in
the manager role.
Exactly, in a more senior position.
And that's the only reason that you got the...
Exactly. And then that's exactly.
In the first place.
So read between the lines, like move, just keep looking.
Yeah, I know that's what I think as well.
Yeah, the job market is really crazy at the moment, but honestly, just keep looking. Now you've got on your CV head of HR, they can see promotion internally. They don't know this backstory. So just keep looking.
7 years is also a decent amount of time.
It's more than
you've done your stint.
Yeah.
And also go where you can learn. because, you know, there are two things. Either go where you're going to learn, or go where they're going to appreciate you for, you know, what you actually have learned to date. Because at the moment it's feeling like you're not getting either. Like, your manager knows very little about HR. Doesn't seem like she really is even interested. I really don't like those ones as well, where it's like you've only ever worked at one company. Maybe you were an office assistant, then they made you HR, and then you've been doing what you believe is HR for so long, and probably relying on the people below you who have more experience. Like, what can you really learn from that person at this point? You know, and they're even telling you, I'm so sorry, but they don't want you there. They're even telling you there's nothing more we can teach you.
Yeah, exactly.
They're literally saying,
so, oh, you got your qualifications.
Yeah, like, you've got your qualification. What they're even trying to tell you, we don't know if there's anything more for you here. And when they're saying that there's going to be a path, but they're not doing anything proactively to support that, like, it just, for me, I would just be packing my bags.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, quiet quit.
Exactly. Literally, I would quiet quit. I'd find another job. Literally, be on, like what we were saying, what episode ago? Be on your laptop searching for jobs.
Literally,
like, giving, you know, get people to refer you. You know, I hope you've got a HR community that can help
and
you.
you've got 16 years of experience in HR.
That's a long time.
You don't need to be putting up with this.
Exactly.
You don't need it.
Know your worth.
Yeah, know your worth. Like, you've got more experience than she does, like, than your manager. And also that whole thing where it's like consistently forgetting you or excluding you. Like,
that's how they'll forget you for promotions, forget you for salary increases.
Yeah, exactly. And you said that before COVID, like, you would ask for a load of like increases or development, and they just keep saying no, no, no. Like, if this was a relationship, this is what I say. If this was a relationship and you kept asking somebody for something and they kept saying no, even though it's something that you felt like you deserved or you wanted, would you hang around, or would you be like, okay, yeah, deuces?
It's true. Some would hang around.
Exactly, but you don't want to be those people.
You don't want to be those people.
You don't want to be those people. You want to be the ones who know their worth. And it's just like that here. Like, you have to know your worth.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, keep looking.
Yeah, I can't even give, like, is there any more practical advice we can give about what she should do to be honest, I don't think you should.
No, obviously keep doing what you're doing, but just know that your best is not appreciated. So just keep looking for a new job.
Yeah, because I just feel like it's not one of those things where we're going to be like, oh, this is how you get them to recognize you.
Not in this situation.
You've been there for 7 years. If they're not recognizing you
by now, then
listen.
Lost cause.
Yeah, listen to their behavior and not their words.
Agreed.
Even their words are, to be honest, they're giving you a lot of hints in there.
It's true. Well. Yeah. Well, hope that was kind of helpful.
Yeah.
So I have some of the dilemmas from when we did a Q&A on Instagram. So if you're not following on Instagram, follow us at Everybody Hates HR Pod. Sometimes we'll put up a random Q&A of dilemmas or
That's
random
questions.
question.
All the up-to-date information. Actually, anything we're doing, probably put it on Instagram first.
That's true. There's some funny ones that came in, like, work bestie resigned, what do I do? Which made me laugh. But okay, so this one says, how can I transition from the education sector, brackets admin, to a HR role outside of education?
I would start in education.
So would I.
I feel like that I'm always seeing school HR roles. I'm always seeing them.
You know how I feel about school HR roles.
Not everyone's experience is like yours. I hope. But I would actually start in education, and this is in anything in general. Like, if you're in a company or in an industry, sometimes it's just easier to transition within that industry because you don't have to learn new industry or new company and the new role. You're just learning a new role, and a lot of the stuff, like let's say in your school or university or wherever you work, you already know the people, you know the systems, you know everything. So if you have to go then move into another role, then you're just learning a little part of it. And also they're usually more willing to give you a role. It's much harder to find another job where it's like entry level, even when it's at entry level, when you don't have experience in the industry or experience in the role. So I always recommend doing that. And if you don't want to do that, then just make sure, you're tailoring your CV towards the role and trying to get something on your CV that looks vaguely relevant to the role.
Yeah, I agree. I would start in the industry that you're already in, make relationships with individuals that could potentially help you transition into a more specific HR role, and like be an admin in education. I feel like it shouldn't be too hard to then transition into a HR admin role or assistant role from that, if you've made the right connections to help you do that. But yeah, if you don't want to stay in education, then I would say, again, like I'm just going by all this minimal information, I would say stay in the public sector for trying to transition at first, because education, it would be easy, I guess, to go into another public sector industry. So yeah, I would do that. But if you don't want to do that and want to go private, then like Lola said, you know, which transferable skills do you have from your admin role in education that you can put on your CV so that you can really push yourself when looking for other roles outside of education. But I feel like once you have that first role in HR,
no one doesn't really care where you did it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
You can actually move around.
Yeah. Like, what industries have you worked in?
I've worked in my actual very first role was in the NHS. But yeah, I worked in NHS, I worked in professional services, I've worked in travel, sort of. Worked in marketing, fintech, recruitment. Yeah, I'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
Where the money resides.
That's where you go. Yeah, I feel like there's no like...
What about you? You're like tech, obviously, retail.
Yeah, retail, pharmaceutical, education, and tech. Yeah, I think that's it, you know. I don't know what the recruitment company would class as.
I feel like HR is very transferable as long as you're not anywhere for too long. And when I say too long, I mean like if you spend like 10 years somewhere, then people are probably going to box you in.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
if you've done 2 years here, 3 years here, 4 years here, you can move anywhere you like. I think people are pretty open.
Yeah, I think they like actually when they see that agility to be able to move from one industry to another and adapt to different client groups, to adapt to different like business models. I think they actually appreciate when people can do that. So all the best.
Yeah. And also, one thing I always tell people, and sometimes people are like, oh, I think I've said it on here before, but reach volunteering. Have I said it on here before?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, so if you want to make a career change and you have a little bit of extra time, especially if you're like in between jobs or whatever, I always recommend people to go on Reach Volunteering or any sort of volunteering, but that's the one that I've used in the past. And I always recommend, because you have a lot of charities who put up jobs who are looking for volunteer support. So let's say you're trying to move into HR, a charity who's looking for someone to support in HR, they might be a bit more flexible, especially if you're working for free, on, you know, what they're looking for. And when you've just got like 3 or 4 months of that, like if you do it like 5 hours a week, 3 or 4 months, you can put that on your CV and it just makes you look better.
Do you know what? So that just reminded me, there's someone who listens to the pod actually, but she was following Black and HR, still follows the pod as well. And I don't know how we ended up speaking, but anyway, she was in my DMs, and during COVID, she did exactly that. She didn't have any HR experience, and she volunteered for free as a HR advisor for X amount of months. And then she got her first HR role after that. And then today was her last day. So if she watches this, she'll know I'm talking about her. Today was her last day at her first HR role, and she starts a new one very soon. But it was all from just working for free during COVID for a couple months. So obviously if you can, and you can do it on the side, like
and to be honest, I think anybody can. Obviously some people are like short on time, but some of the charities are so
it's like
flexible.
1 hour a day or a week.
Yeah.
So if you can and you want to transition, definitely look into it. They come up on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
And
you can do anything. Like I'm starting to look into some stuff because I want to get some like non-exec type trustee experience. I just think it would be nice.
Lola's brain never stops working, by the way.
When it comes to making money, yeah.
It's always ticking.
You know what my ideal role would be? You know them board directors where they do like 12 meetings a year and they get paid like 80K?
Oh my gosh. Do you know what? The first time I saw that was at my first ever HR job, yeah? And it was before everything was digital, so I was going through all the files, yeah? And I can't remember what my manager said to me, but they told me this person was coming in and it was like, oh, get things together. So I went through their file. Literally, they were contracted
like
to
6 meetings or something.
Yeah, it was literally like 6 or 8 meetings, and this is like 2014, and they were on like 75k for just those meetings.
So when you see me, when anyone connected with me, when you see, Lola's become trustee of this, just know that it's loading. Know that I'm getting the experience for a reason. What those non-exec directors, and then your next meeting could even be in Singapore.
Literally, and they're just there to go eat and drink.
Wow. But anyway, yeah.
Because what impact are you making for 6 meetings a year?
I'll bring HR expertise.
It's minimal. It's
HR
minimal
expertise
to be getting that much money.
They just need someone to have so that they can see that they've consulted more widely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I might even jump on that. I'm not gonna lie.
When you see me that I've become non-executive director of something and it don't make no sense, just close your eyes, close your mouth.
Oh my gosh, what's the next one?
Okay, I think it's another long-ish one.
I think I'm gonna jump on that.
What?
Non-exec.
Okay, so next one. Red flags ahoy, please help. Hello ladies, your podcast is my new happy place.
I love that.
Thank you for coming, we love it. I've got a dilemma, multiple layers. I've been working as a clothing manager for a national UK brand who have just gone through a significant amount of rebranding and change in operations. The training was terrible, if not non-existent.
It's giving Arcadia.
And there were red flags flying at the interview stage. I don't feel ready for my role and the responsibility which comes with it. I completed 5 weeks of traveling to 3 cities for substandard training, in inverted, quotes. At one location, the colleagues used racist and derogatory language daily in front of me regarding customer profiles over a 2-week period. I'm biracial, West African origin, so my hair is very curly. Biracial girl. Do you know that he made one of those for like everything?
Did he?
There's one that's like, yeah. He's got a whole like album and it's different types. One that's anyway, sorry. We don't even know if it's a girl. It's not going off in my head now. I'm biracial, West African origin, so my hair is very curly. I look Caucasian due to my mum having red hair with green eyes. One day, I made the mistake of wearing my natural hair just to have...
It wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mistake.
Exactly. Don't let people make you think it's a mistake because they don't know how to manage themselves. One day I made the mistake of wearing my natural hair just to have women dig their dirty hands into it at any given moment without a thought. I've tried to correct the behavior, but was told I was overreacting and that my hair was not going to fall out. I returned to my contracted place of work to be told by a fellow manager that the store manager had commented about my performance to them and allegedly said I had an attitude problem.
Oh my
Shock.
gosh.
My 4-week probation interview was not completed on time, and then I find out my manager will share the store. It's too late. My 4-week probation interview was not completed on time, and I then find out the manager I will share the store with in the exact same role as me is earning a significant amount more than me per year, and we're both salaried, £3,000 more. The fellow manager who earned the higher wage just quit without notice, so I decided to bring my salary difference to my boss's attention on return to my base store. He is not happy as I asked him to explain the difference in roles, to which he said there was none. I am now public enemy number 1. His retort was, you agreed to your salary. Everything in my body is telling me to run for the hills. HR are ignoring me after I explained I need to raise a grievance. They never called me back like they said. I am currently signed off work. Please help. I feel like we just can't keep giving people advice that they should leave their jobs, but at the same time.
No, but you put your hand in my hair, we're gonna fight. Like you can't put your hand in my hair and tell me my hair's not gonna fall out. Like, no.
It's like punching someone in the mouth and telling them their teeth are not gonna fall out. That's what you should have done.
Like, don't touch me. Don't violate my personal space. I don't
understand why people don't get this. Like, it's not even like, even if you don't understand the hair thing, when did it become acceptable to touch your colleagues?
Never.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, why do people act like it's so above them to understand the concept? Even if you don't understand Afro hair, natural hair, the relationship that a lot of black women have with their hair, you must understand personal boundaries.
Like, I'd never feel the urge to touch any of my colleagues, regardless of what they look like.
Why do you need to?
Like, you could come in with hair like Marge Simpson. I'm not going to touch you.
To touch someone's hair is actually quite an intimate thing.
It is. To touch anyone, anywhere, when that's not your friend, it's not your partner. Don't touch me.
If someone touched my hair, like, think about the situations where you could touch someone's hair at work. I think it's actually quite an intimate thing. If a man, for instance, touched a woman's hair at work, I feel like that
all hell will break loose.
I feel like that could be grounds to say, imagine someone said, "Oh, your hair's nice," and they touch, and they just touched it. Imagine if a man in your office came and said, "Oh, your hair's so nice," and touched your hair. Would you not feel like...
I've had a complaint like that before.
Yeah, of course, because it's something to complain about. I would feel actually violated.
Yeah, that's first. So that's number one. Like, that's just ridiculous. On that alone, the fact that they're not listening, you're signed off, my grievance would be pending. Don't wait for HR to contact you, because they're probably happy and thinking, oh, they're not going to raise it anymore. Like, they've forgotten about it, so we don't need to contact them.
You don't need their permission to raise a grievance.
Exactly. Just
go find
raise
the policy, send it, and they'll have to deal with it.
Exactly. Just raise it, and it's facts. They touched your hair. They shouldn't have done it. The pay discretion.
It's harder.
Can I be honest? Because they said it's £3,000 difference, right? Obviously, because he lives. Yeah, but.
After tax,
what is 3K?
I think it's partly the principle. And no, actually, it's two things. It's partially it is because he lives, so that extra £200 in my pocket or whatever it is every month is going to help me. And then number two is the principle. And even if you were willing to let it go, the reaction of your manager will make you not want to. I do think...
True, but not everyone is going to be paid the exact same.
Yeah, I get that. So I feel like if they said, sorry, we can't do that, you negotiate what you negotiated, it's not ideal, but it's not unfair or untrue. Because you will have situations like that. Like, even if it's on a band, even if the band is 10K wide, not everyone is going to be exactly the same place on the band, and there is an element of negotiation. It would be great if companies just brought everyone in at the same amount and then raised everyone. But that's just how the NHS works, and actually you don't want that. You want the ability for companies to have some flexibility. Yeah. So, yeah, I get it, what you're saying. Like, it's not so much money after tax to kind of fight over, but literally every penny counts right now.
Yeah, but also maybe I'm not clear on timelines, but it sounds like they just finished some form of probation, and then they're in the role now.
4 week probation. They're very early in this role.
Yeah, they're back at their base store now. So to me, with the salary thing, that's just I don't know if that would be a focus so early on. Like, I would wait until I've really proved myself,
demonstrate something.
Yeah. And then I would say, okay, now I can back my chat. I'm gonna have this conversation. 1 or 2, I would find out what the performance review structure is there, and if it's like, in 3 months or 6 months or whatever, I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, I'll wait till then
and be gathering your receipts in the meantime.
It's what I would do. Again, though, like, it just sounds like another. I mean, retail in general is not for the faint-hearted. Like, I love my John Lewis days, but I've worked in many retail places before. Like, John Lewis was great, but I've worked in loads of others, and it's really not for the faint-hearted.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, retail. I find everything permeates through retail. Like, all the retail just permeates through all the different levels, even into head office, in the sense that people, even in HR, usually have retail backgrounds. So they worked on the shop floor, like you did. You worked on the shop floor, and then you go in and you work in the head office or something like that. So a lot of the times I find that people that work in retail, they're not necessarily that well trained. I had someone that actually worked at a company that I won't mention because she's my friend, but she was saying, like, she worked in finance, and even a lot of the finance people, they just used to work in store, and then they brought them in and taught them how to do the specific tasks that they did, but they didn't give them the training around, which meant that they weren't actually that great at their jobs. So it can work like that in HR, where they're maybe not the best. But if you wanted to raise your grievance. I wouldn't necessarily raise it about the pay, but how.
No, I would just raise about hair. I wouldn't raise it about. And
pay. Even the things that they were saying in terms of customer profiles and like.
Yeah, I would raise grievance against that.
They probably didn't know she was mixed race.
Yeah, that's a good point. Which is why they felt comfortable to talk like that. So yeah, I'd bring that up as a grievance. Yeah, but then my thing is, I'm not saying all retail is bad, but the chances of you getting a result that you're actually going to be satisfied with, just knowing the culture already that you've joined, You have to manage your expectations.
But if she's joining a store manager, right? If you're managing a store, she must have lots of experience in retail. So you must be able to.
No, not necessarily.
You don't have to have experience in retail.
I mean,
Well, you must have worked in a few stores to know like what's normal and what's not normal.
Not necessarily, you know. You got like kids. I'm not saying this person is a kid.
Managers.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you
get kids.
Store manager is a bit more serious.
I don't agree. And I'm saying that from my experience at John Lewis.
I'll say as someone who, like, I've worked at a few stores. Well, I would say when I worked at H&M, I worked at H&M in Canterbury, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I came to the one in London.
KDR in Canterbury, like all the shops, jewelry.
Yeah, no, like it's hello. I told you, hello misery. But the people who were like the floor managers and the store manager, and they just got so excited all the time, like they just felt like, you know, like the power trips were crazy. But I do feel like there's a little bit more to it. But kind of all that aside, what I'm saying is he or she must have worked at a number of. Oh no, right?
She. I don't know.
But anyway, did you say I'm a biracial girl? No, we said that.
Yeah, we said that. We said that. They just said they're biracial. We added the girl.
Yeah, so when like if you have experience, you'll know that some things are not normal. Like you've worked in stores before, like you
but
know.
Then it is normal in retail though.
What, to just have a level of a general lack of professionalism? Yeah,
there is a general lack of professionalism in retail.
Do you know what? This is how I feel like I might be getting. Sorry, we'll come back to your dilemma. I just have to say this. I felt like the other day, like, is it that I'm getting old? Because what I hate.
Go on, tell me about the bad customer service you received.
Yeah, what I hate is when I get to the till and the two people on the till are just chatting amongst themselves. And I know I probably did it once. Yeah, and actually someone told me in H&M. But I hate it. I hate, like, if I come to you and you two are just having general conversation, you're not even acknowledging me, hi, and that's it, and you're saying, oh, what you did on the weekend. Are you okay? Talk when I'm gone. Like, engage me. Like, even if you're not going to talk, but having a full conversation, like, I'm not there, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy.
Nah, it is.
It's so rude.
It is rude. But there's a lot of, I'm being a bit ageist, but when you have young people working in retail,
yeah, and I know when I was that same age, I did it too.
Yeah, we would congregate, and then the department manager will be like, disperse, please. You're not a gang, and it's just like, shut up, man. Like, I don't want to be here on a Saturday. You're lucky I'm here.
Even no. I can't stand it. And I can't say anything because I would just judge myself too much if I was like, excuse me, you got a customer here. Like, I feel like.
No, but you should, because again, I know I keep going back to John Lewis, but they really taught me how to be somebody, because the sort of customers that come into John Lewis, they will
say something.
There's no way they won't say nothing. They will say something to you. But excuse me, I've been standing here for 5 minutes and I haven't been acknowledged. Like, they will let you know. So then you have to, like, do what you're doing.
And you know what it is? I think it's worse when it's like, if I'm about to pay money, you know, like when you go to till and you've got too much stuff that you should have had on your butt. And I'm like, so, no, it just ignores me.
In John Lewis, I've seen women put, because I worked in shoes, hats and lingerie.
Put the stuff down.
I've seen them put stuff down because they weren't acknowledged.
I'm not there yet. I actually like to shop on my own. Like, don't come and ask me too many questions. Do you know what? Yeah, we haven't. Anyway, we'll circle back after the dilemma.
We're digressing. But yeah, raise agreements on hair and the racist comments, discriminatory comments
alone is enough. Even the comments, and they're talking about customers. I actually think one of the worst things, is having disdain for your own customers. Like, how can you not like the people that are paying you? Like, I hate it. It's given Peckham Cosmetics. But
have you seen the new name?
I've seen Kings and Queens or something.
They are mocking us. They're absolutely mocking us. Kings and Queens. You think it would be like, yeah, so it's all good now. They think we're royalty.
Yeah.
Are they stupid?
No, but they actually know. But
they will crumble. They will crumble.
But yeah, having disdain for your own customers is like, I can't abide by it. How can you be talking about customers in a derogatory way?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But yeah, raise your grievance. Just go look in the policy, see you have to send it to the right person, make sure you follow up, look for a new job. You're saying, look, the title of the dilemma was red flags galore, like red flags or whatever it was. You're seeing them now. Don't be in the toilet in 12 months time crying because you hate your job.
It's true.
Like,
do something now.
Probation period is legit 2 ways.
Yeah.
Like, it's for them to assess you, but also for you to assess them.
Of course, yeah.
You know, like, get on your Zoom, because you can't say that you didn't see the red flags. They've literally been there from the beginning. And that's one thing I can't deal with it. People will be like, oh yeah, but this, but they literally showed you from the beginning, and you can
who they are.
Yeah. And you can, so you're consenting at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
So raise your grievance in the meantime. Start looking for another. Let's see what they do with your grievance. Raise your grievance, look for another job, but also see what they do with your grievance. If they're not serious about your grievance,
then you know what to do.
And then your manager is also not doing the right things. And I would say wait to talk about the pay. Just let it go.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, cool.
And show your worth.
Always.
Anyway, Peckham Cosmetics. They are crazy. I'm sorry. I just have to say, like, those, I mean, hopefully everyone who listens to the podcast knows, but there was basically a man who, for whatever reason, backstory, ended up strangling a customer in a Peckham Cosmetics shop, right? And I really think that disdain for your own customers is one thing I can't deal with. There's a shop, called Essence of Nature in Sydenham, black-owned hair shop. And I actually really love going there because when I go there, they're like, oh, do you need help? And I genuinely feel like they are asking me for help and not just trying to make sure I'm not stealing from their shop. And I feel like when you go into some of these cosmetic shops, they're like these black hair shops, which are never black-owned or hardly ever black-owned. They literally ask you if you need help, but it feels so accusatory, and they're like standing behind the shelf watching you. And I'm like, most of your customers, if not all of your customers, are black. Why do you still not trust us? We're the ones who put money in your pocket. So let them change. They can change their name to whatever they want
as much as they want. Disgusting.
I was so insulted by that name. I'm so happy that people won't let them live. Like, it's so funny. I just find it so funny.
Kings and queens. Do you know that's just taking an absolute piss? Because
kings and queens,
you're actually patronising us.
You hate
now.
us, yeah.
You
think like, nothing of us.
You thought that
just call them kings and queens. They'll let it go.
Yeah, because they think they're royalty. You know.
At least if you close the shop, just move to another location, get a new front
Apparently,
man.
that's one of many that he owns.
Of course, of course.
Literally,
most of the cosmetic shops owners, they don't just own one.
Anyway, there's a black hair subscription box called Treasure Tress. If you don't know, get to know. You can get all your stuff from there on monthly. You can pick what you want in the box, and it comes straight to your doorstep.
This is not even an ad, so
it's not an ad.
You know, we mean it.
Yeah, big up founder Jamelia, like Donaldson, amazing. You go there instead.
There we go.
Yeah,
or Essence of Nature in Sydenham if you live around there. Next.
This is just a random one, which I'm like, okay. So someone said, what is your take on getting close to other black women in the department? Should I be happy or should I be cautious?
I don't know, like, are they nice? Are they good people? Like, what kind of question is that? Like, should you be like, oh, I'm going to talk to other black people? Like, talk to the people you want to talk to. What kind of question is that?
I don't know. Do you know what? No, okay, can I be honest again?
Always.
Put my honesty hat on.
Is it always on?
Is this mic on? I think that you come across different types of people in the workplace. When you are black, you can kind of, this sounds so bad, but you can basically kind of categorize where different black people
I know where you're
sit.
going.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and this doesn't just apply to black women, even though the dilemma specifically asked about black women, but you know, if you come across a tap dancer, if you know what that means, you know what it means. I'm not going to explain myself. If you don't know, you don't know.
If you know, you know. If you don't, go on Urban Dictionary.
You know, you get others where you're like, okay, I see you. We see each other.
Yeah.
Everything's all good. Then you got the ones who, you know, they're on a bit of a trip. They're a bit nervous. They're very much, you know, like, I know that we both are, but like, this ain't the place. Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe catch me at DLT or something. But right now, like, I can't do this with you. Yeah, there's just different places.
I feel like I need to break that down for the people who are not black.
I mean, if you want to, you can.
I'll give you a translation of what Velisa just said. So basically,
and that's my PG version.
Yeah, I'm gonna give some context, you know, for the people who are not in the Ebonics. So basically, tap dancer. Let's say that's like people who are happy to perform towards whiteness, We'll say that, right? So like, I'll do whatever you want me to be. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll be whoever you want me to be. I just want to fit in. And please, ideally, don't tell nobody that I'm black. Yeah, like I'm black, but I'm not one of those black people. Like I'm very like happy to reduce my blackness. I'm happy to conform. I'm happy to do anything so that I can fit in. And in my heart, maybe I would like to be, or I'm upset that I'm not white. Yeah, maybe that's not a bit unfair, and also I may also let people poke fun of my blackness sometimes. Yeah, and then you get the people who are like, probably me and you, who were like, I'm just here to live. Maybe you're another black woman. You understand my experience. I'm happy to spend time with you. I'm happy to, use you as my safe space and somebody who might understand me in this workplace when I'm dealing with things that only somebody of, similar background might understand. I see you. I see you. You see me. We see each other. Yeah. And then you have like other people who may have liked to be like me and Velisa, like I see you, but they're too nervous because they've experienced some workplace trauma in the past where maybe they've been made fun of, maybe they've experienced racist comments, maybe they had another black person that they spoke to and people called them a gang. So now they're so scared that people might, call you a gang if you're with another black person, or that there may be some negative impact of associating with other black people. They just stay well away. But outside of work, they are just, that's where they explore their culture and feel happy to explore their blackness. But at work, they're just quiet and they won't really reference it unless somebody else does. And even then, it's like, okay, bye.
That was a great HR way of describing what I described.
Thank you. Because when you said tap dancing, I was like, the people who know are going to get it, and the people who don't, they're not going to get it.
Kudos to you, Lola.
Thank you. That's how I translate stuff to my clients.
But yeah, in general, trust who you want to trust. Like, black woman, not black woman, white woman, like,
listen, I told you some of my favourites are 50-year-old white men.
For real, like, yeah, trust who you want to trust.
And not everyone is like you as well. Like that whole thing. Like imagine you're saying you're here talking about, should you talk to the other black women in the office? They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, for real. You're
here writing dilemma about people that don't want to be your friend.
Yeah, go with your gut. I would say as well, be cautious of everybody. I don't care what race or gender, religion, whatever you are. Like you should have some sort of cautiousness when you meet anyone new. Stranger danger. Hello.
Literally, like you can just judge people on who they are. Do you know what I mean? Like see people who.
Yeah. Do you know what one of my things I do? This is gonna sound so tapped, but when I start at a new workplace, I will say something like I don't know. It could be something really random, like I went to watch Arsenal play with my partner, something like that. Yeah. I want to see, once I've told that one person, I want to see how many people after that
ask you about your partner.
Yep. Or ask me, about me going to see Arsenal. Then I know what sort of person you are. 100%. That's how you know who the talkers are.
Do you think?
100%. Some people can't help themselves.
But yeah, I had I used to have a friend. Yeah.
Used to.
And I have most of the friends I've had it for a very long time. So if you're on the very small list of ex-friends, you did something bad. But anyway, I used to have a friend who
Lola's a Leo. Sorry, continue.
Listen, I don't even know what that means. My Mercury's in retrograde. I don't know, but I hate you. But yeah, so I had a friend who I got a family member to refer them for a job. And then the family member then really put themselves, on the line and said, oh yeah, this person's really good for the job, blah, blah. Anyway, they ended up getting the job. And so they were working with this particular family member. They then went on to tell people at work my family member's business. So such that people are now asking the family member about, your girlfriend this, your girlfriend that, blah, 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 blah. And my family member's like, I never told you people that. Like, why do you know? So she went to that office and told them, he's got a girlfriend. Oh my god, she's so nice. But he wasn't saying bad things. He was saying, she's so nice. But still, blah blah blah. I'm like, imagine somebody came to work, didn't tell anyone about their personal life, worked there for many years, and then you show up and now everyone knows their business.
Oh my gosh,
that's crazy, isn't it?
That's very crazy. I mean, it's not the same.
Then I felt bad because I introduced them to each other.
It's not the same, but I remember when I was working at the pharma company, and I brought in two were friends. One was my partner's friend. Brought them all in, and they started calling me Vels. And I don't go by Vols in the workplace. I go by Velisa. And then because of them, everybody started calling me Vels. I was like, what the hell what have you done? Like, why is the head of communications calling me Vels? Now. What have you done? Like, I was so
it's too familiar.
And no one asked me if it was okay because of them. But they knew these were my friends from outside of work, but still they were just like, oh, just out of the blue, one day, Vels. I was like, huh?
I've had I think shortening names is too familiar. Unless someone is specific, he says, like I work with one of my clients now, his name is Dave. He's David, but no one calls him David except apparently his mum and his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone else is Dave. So if someone's given you that, then fair enough. But I also worked with a director. He was like, I'm Michael, don't call me Mike. Don't call me Mike. And he was very adamant about don't call me Mike. And
I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it. Like in the workplace, call me Velisa.
Even initials. Do people call you V? Do people just randomly?
People have tried and have failed. People have really tried and failed. Don't call me V. No one calls me V. Like no one. Don't do that. But you know who the coolest people are though? The people who go by their last name in the workplace. I find those people cool.
One of my clients has 3 marks, and they're all very senior. So you have to use their last name.
I love that. I think it's quite cool.
There's a company that one of my clients used to do some employee survey tool, and there's again loads of people called Sarah, and one of them has the last name Sloan, so everyone calls her Sloan.
See, I like that. Yeah. I actually like Sloan as a first name.
Sloan, it's all right.
Yeah, it's quite
everyone calls.
Sounds like an actress.
Should we do one more?
Yeah. Okay, so the next dilemma is, thanks for the pod, love it. We'll cut to the chase. This is what I like. So TLDR, which means too long, don't read. So this is the short version, is a person on my team has been promoted for proactively taking on more responsibilities, but it came as a surprise to the rest of the team. Is this reasonable practice, or can it reinforce structural inequities? All right, the long version, it's not that long, it's all right. Okay. So long version, I'm in a temporary role as a team manager covering a 6-month sabbatical. I'm usually a consultant and freelancer in the not-for-profit sector. I took this job at a global not-for-profit to get a taste of organizational life again. As part of the handover, the person I'm covering for told me she was trying to get a person on the team promoted, meaning a new job title with senior and a pay rise. The reason given was that this person had taken on lots of extra responsibilities without being asked. Basically, the person I am covering for was grateful that this person was stepping up a lot. I said I was concerned because there are structural factors that make some people more likely to step up. The promoted person is in the European time zone, so it's right in the middle, making it easier to connect with all the teams worldwide. The new team structure would also now have a team leader, brackets, white, 2 senior positions, brackets, white, and 3 junior positions, all people of colour, which made me uneasy. From my organisational experience, I think I've seen white people more often feel entitled to step up, raise their voice and claim responsibilities, and people of colour, especially women of colour, more often wait to be asked or say, can I help, a lot. Maybe because they don't want to seem pushy or have someone challenge them and push back in their place if they do just start taking stuff on. The person I'm covering for asked HR because she said the policy was unclear, untested, as there had been some changes lately. HR came back and said yes, and the person has been promoted. The whole team are great. I feel I see the others stepping up just as much, but their style is less assertive. I'm not saying this person doesn't deserve to be rewarded for showing initiative. She's awesome. Her style is quite intense and she does do a lot. But would it be better practice to advertise opportunities like this for promotion? If there is to be a senior role in the team, give people a chance to apply openly rather than promote someone out the blue. Thanks for any thoughts. Keen to learn. P.S. My boss's boss heard I had raised concerns with my own boss about this, and she got really defensive and told me it's all fine. So I feel a bit confused and would appreciate your expert advice.
Oh, that's a hard one. well, not hard, but I kind of get both sides. I understand why someone would want to reward someone who's stepping up in that behavior, but I also think the role should be advertised. Like if there is a more senior role that you're going to create, I think, yeah, it should be. I think people should have equal opportunity to be promoted if there is a new role to get. But I also understand that not everyone is promotion ready at the time. So there should be an assessment and it should be compared.
Yeah, I do think a lot of companies, even when they do advertise a role where people can be promoted, sometimes they already know who it's going to be, and it's just basically,
Tick box.
yeah, it's just standard to basically pull it out there and let people apply, but they already know who they're going to give it to, especially when it's like, you know,
there's a clear
and like everyone knows who it's going to be. I don't know if it was as clear to the team as it was to the others. I mean, the senior people who promoted that individual. I don't know. Obviously, this person is a team lead, which is why they have concerns, because it's their team. I mean, you've raised it, which is good. I don't know. What do you think?
So I think especially in not-for-profit and in the public sector, they are very much like, if there's a role, you need to apply. And it needs to be advertised to everyone. And
which they didn't do.
Yeah, and a lot of policy, like usually it's governed by policies, right? And the policies say that if there's a role. So let's say you work in the NHS and you're a band 5 HR person, and a band 6 HR role comes up and you're the strongest HR person, they're not just going to promote you. They're going to make you apply for that role, and other people are going to be able to apply. And you may even, if there's not enough necessarily comparators in the organization, they might even put it external. And obviously you're in the business or you're in the organization, and you should ideally you come out top because you already have the organizational experience and also just the experience in the role. So I know in the public sector and in most like charities that I've come across, that's what they would do. And I think if you need to look at what the practice is within the organization in general to make sure that there's fairness. If there is is there a policy in place? That's the first thing I would check about how like the promotion or career development or whatever policy it is, which says how you're supposed to do it. If there's no policy that governs it, I would look at what they usually do to make sure that people are at least being consistent and fair. And if there's no policy and it hasn't happened before, then it's a little bit more grey. But I would still say that in a situation where you have more than one person doing the same role, just to avoid conflict, it's good to put people through the process.
Yeah, but that's something they haven't done. So I feel like it's too late. But maybe as a team lead, it would be good to voice going forward, this is what I would have done based on my observations of my own team. Because again, sometimes with senior leaders, they're a bit far removed. So of course, the one who's in their face is the one that they're going to target for promotion, where he's saying they're all stepping up, but they're just not as assertive. So it's then his role to step in and say, do you know what, this is my observation. These are all the strong performers on my team. These are the people who could have potentially stepped into that role. So I'm just a bit disappointed that, you know, they weren't given the opportunity to do the same as this person who I know has been more overt about wanting to step up.
And what you said about structural things is really true.
Yeah.
Like if we're just speaking candidly, like white people typically will feel more entitled. They're probably been trampled down less in the past. So like sometimes you just have a natural confidence that you would get from, I don't know, being in the majority. But for instance, if you're in a minoritized group, sometimes you just not as confident or don't want to rock the boat. So there are certain things that will hold you back from, you know, speaking up. Or even culturally, there's some kind of cultures where you wouldn't speak up and you would kind of wait, but you would make sure that, you know, once you're told to do something, not say you can't lose initiative, but you would do that thing really well. And if you needed to step up and if you asked to step up, you would, and you might not want to step on people's toes. So there's lots of other stuff which he said is true. So I think in this particular case, I would do what you said. So I would raise it and I just make sure that people are aware. It doesn't seem like this is like, it's not necessarily the hill that I would die on, but I would make it known that, yeah, I think there's probably better ways that we could do this, and could we consider X, Y, and Z? And definitely if there's a policy or some previous history of doing certain things, I would raise that as well.
Yeah, and follow up in writing, because you're in a temporary position. So you just need it somewhere for longevity where it can be hopefully like looked at after you're gone.
And also, you're in a temporary role. I don't know if you want to stay or not, but I would say feel emboldened by the fact that you're in a temporary role. Like whilst you're there, talk about your managers. Your manager's manager is getting defensive. So
yeah, you're doing the right thing.
You're doing the right thing, exactly. So even if your manager's manager is not necessarily loving what you're saying, you're in a temporary role. Hopefully, you don't feel the same as some people who might worry about their job security or their long-term future in that organization. So just speak your truth, and if something good happens from it, or maybe they learn, that's great. And if they don't, then you tried.
Yeah, for real. I hear that. I have one more question before we go.
Okay.
As HR, where do you go for HR advice? And you can't say yourself.
I wouldn't say myself.
Like if you needed HR advice
for
yourself.
So if I was at a job and I was like, I need something, I'd just ask my friends. Like I'd ask you.
Okay.
I'd ask. I just ask people that I know that are in HR. Like, yeah, I'd probably come to you first.
Yeah, I'd come to you first.
What do I do? Someone was speaking to me recently, somebody who's senior in another industry, and she was like, do I have a HR mentor? And because I asked, because sometimes I think I probably need one. Like, so I'm exploring that now. I'm exploring whether I need somebody, I would like to benefit from the experience of someone who's been in HR for a very long time and kind of seen and done it, because sometimes I do feel a bit like, obviously I still have lots to learn, but it would be helpful if I'm not the most senior person in the space, or do you know what I mean? I need to be able to go to people who have more experience than me.
Yeah, I feel like I take one from everywhere I've worked. Like that, but obviously I've spoken about it before, but my favorite is definitely the senior director that I had at FB. Like even I went to California with my current job and we met up because she lives in California. She's coming to my wedding.
Oh, cute. I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, like she's just amazing. Like, and she just has money that I aspire to have. But yeah, it's good to have people like that. I have another one as well in London, who I really love. Sheila, she's great as well. Like, and she's specifically really senior in ER, which is helpful for me. So we go out to eat and discuss stuff.
I think that's what I need, because where I was like, for the last few years, I've been working for myself or one of the more senior people in the company. I was in the most senior HR people. I just feel like I've missed out on that a little bit. So that's something that I'm probably going to explore a little bit more, or just being in more like HR spaces. Obviously we have our community, which is great, but I want to make sure that I'm making more of a conscious effort to like network with HR people.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to point out though, in terms of like, I feel like there's a lot of benefits for you coming from companies where you are the most senior or one of the most senior in HR in terms of developing your own skills and stuff. I feel like people kind of like shit on the matrix organizations quite a bit, but that's what they're good for in that sense.
There's so much.
There's someone's boss's boss. Yeah,
like
there's
there's something for everyone. I think working in a big kind of highly matrix organization, there's so much that you get from it. Even just being able to manage like the different verticals and horizontals at the same time, to be okay. Like I know when I was in like, for instance, consulting companies, you might have someone that deals with a particular product but also sits in financial services. So I don't know, you sell X product and you know you need to know that product, but you also need to know this industry, and just even having to get your head around like that matrix structure and who to go to for certain things, or who's manager. Like it really is hard, but you learn so much from just having to navigate like all the different relationships and stuff like that. So I'm listen, it's not beyond me. One day.
But do you see how I say Lola's brain's always ticking? In this one episode, you've mentioned non-exec, you've mentioned mentor.
I am a Gen Z in my heart. You keep saying you're Gen Z. Let me tell you what, I'm Gen Z, yeah? I could even be alpha at this point. I don't know. But I don't believe in job for life.
No, neither do I.
Oh, we need to deal with that one as well. Maybe next time when we come back. We had a query about that. But I don't believe in job for life. I don't even believe in job for 10 years. So the reason I say these things is because I really genuinely believe that I could do all of them, not at the same time, but at different stages of my career.
I hear that.
I'm not even excluding marketing. I'm not excluding marketing. One day I could wake up and say, do you know what? Forget this HR stuff is long. Let me go do graphics.
you know, I think I'd be really good in PR.
I think you'd be great in PR.
Yeah, I think it's something that I'm interested. I think I'd be a good manager as well, like for an entertainer.
Yeah, social media manager.
Not social media manager.
No, I'm saying because I feel like they could be like, oh, should we do this? You'd be like, how much is it paying? Okay, let's do it.
But PR, that's my bag. Like, you know, I think I would be really good in PR.
Quick question: have you watched Wagatha Christie, the Colleen thing?
It's on my list. Don't spoil it. Okay. I can't wait.
Okay,
I'm watching it this weekend.
I liked it.
I love that Wayne Rooney got so involved.
Do you know what? I like
he wanted to retrain as a lawyer, right?
Yeah. I love Wayne Rooney. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if I should share it. I'm gonna share it.
Okay.
So recently, you're gonna say that I'm mad, or you're just gonna play into what you already think. So I give a lot of advice, but I can't give legal advice because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not qualified. So it's been pissing me off recently that, like, if I can give the same advice, but if I give it to you as a lawyer, you have to pay so much more for it if I give it to you as a qualified legal person. So I've been exploring recently. No,
do you know what? We're in sync. Do you know why? One of my friends has been made redundant and she wanted me to look over the agreement.
Yeah.
And you know how they always give like certain amount of money when you take the agreement?
£500, £750,
yeah.
£1,000.
So she was like, oh, can you take it? And I was like,
no. I don't have a legal practice certificate.
But I think it's something that we can explore. I actually think it's something we can do.
You know what? I was doing a redundancy piece of work for one of my clients, and we had loads of them, and I needed, like, a lot of them were like really anxious, so they were like, oh, I don't need legal advice. Like, you do need legal advice or we can't do it. So I needed some lawyers, but I was really paranoid, so I didn't want to send them all to the same lawyer so that they could be knowing what's in other people's agreements. So I went on the Instagram page and I was like, guys, send me your lawyers. And I just started referring work out to all these lawyers because, like, I couldn't have anyone going to the same.
I could do that.
Yeah, and I trust you. You wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would have been a rich woman.
But yeah, so I'm trying to see, but the traditional way of becoming like a qualified legal person,
we don't
like
need
a lawyer,
that. We just need the one that can read contracts.
Yeah, no, but there is none. Like, you have to qualify. But there's a new route. Anyway, if I tell you what's in my head, guys, there's a new route where you can basically do like 2 years.
Okay.
But then you have to go and you have to do some study, and then you go and you can qualify in 2 years. But
I'm already on my Zoom, guys.
Listen, do you know, when I saw the salary of what they pay the people that are training us in this role, I said no. I'm not going to Magic Circle Law Firm. I don't care about that. Yeah. I just need the bare minimum.
Yeah, I just need to be able to sign and it's certified.
And what you have to practice within a specific, like...
Let's discuss this off air.
Yeah. I'm just telling you now, what I will tell you on air is that they're saying that they only need to pay you $23,000 a year if you want to do that role. So there you go. In that training year, $23,000.
That's a wrap, guys.